Kansas City Chiefs get physically dominated by the Indianapolis Colts on a Sunday night game in front of a national television audience. And now all of a sudden, many people are up in arms and saying that Patrick Mahomes is overrated. We've been watching Russell Wilson do this. We've been watching Aaron Rodgers do this. I'm not surprised. I'm not impressed by anything that he does. He's got this one good play, et cetera, et cetera. Well, here are the things that I would tell you about last night's football game. Number one, after week one, when Patrick Mahomes was injured on his ankle against the Jacksonville Jaguars right before halftime, one of the things that I discussed was maybe keeping him out for a couple of weeks, allowing him some time to heal, because if not, then I believe that ankle injury may begin to show up as the season progresses. What happens? He takes one really solid knock, and where is he limping? Very visibly on that ankle. Now, I'm not going to play the blame game. I think all those people from Mahomes to coaches and trainers and staffs, or part of the staff, are all supposed to be responsible adults and make appropriate decisions. I know this much, that the accumulative effect is something that nearly any physician will tell you is their primary concern, right? That's what happens with concussions. That's what happens with any type of injury is, look, if you can keep getting hurt in this one particular area, I'm going to be worried about long-term accumulative damage, and it may cause permanency. It may be permanent, period. So when I'm the Kansas City Chiefs right now, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at maybe sitting him out for a couple of weeks right now. I look, you've got some important games, but really what game in the NFL isn't important? It's all about your divisional race. It's all about your home field advantage for the playoffs. So it's not as important necessarily, because obviously, you can 10-6 sometimes still sneak your way into the playoffs. But by the same token, predicated upon how hungry that football team is and how they may view the season, every game can be important to any football team in the NFL, and it should be. Now, here's the bottom line. Two things. Number one, the ankle injury, I believe, is going to be an issue down the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. Number two, defensively, they looked better than they have early on in this season. But I got to tell you, I'm still not sold on their defense, even after that football game. And again, the Kansas City Chiefs have yet to play a full 4 quarter of football game, especially offensively. We've seen a couple of games this season where Mahomes has been stupendous in, like, the second quarter, for instance. Man, it's like, oh, where'd that come from? First quarter struggling, second quarter throws for 200 and some odd yards, and then the rest of the game he'll throw for, about 100, 120. And it's kind of like, well, if you take away that one quarter, how good is this Kansas City Chiefs football team? And that's been kind of the thing with me when I've been watching them over the last 5 years, as I've said before ad nauseum, and that's what I'm going to point to again, was they had this spectacular second quarter, and then they just fall off the rest of the way. You've got to be able to play a full game of football in order to win. And look, I'm going to give props to the Indianapolis Colts defense, because they did play very well. They had Mahomes under the gun, which he has been, honestly, through the majority of this season. I mean, that offensive line has not done a very good job of protecting Mahomes, but them and the Cowboys and a couple of other teams in this league have all sustained some serious injuries. And again, the thing that I would tell you to offset that, and what I made mention of earlier with the Dallas Cowboys, are these pass-first offenses. They're just not sustainable in the NFL. They're really not sustainable in football, period, but especially at this level. Because these defensive ends nowadays are completely different breeds than what we saw in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They are bigger, faster, leaner, stronger. They're everything. They're smarter. They're much more well-coached. They are under so much responsibility, because now with the schemes defensively, you've got to prepare for some option plays. You've got to read what the offense is doing better. Do I need to attack in on the running back? Should I go after the quarterback? Is this an RPO? What kind of play is this? Is he just going to drop back? Is this a delayed draw? I mean, as a defensive end, you are having so much more responsibility. But if you know that an offense is pass first, well, then it's just bull rushing the quarterback, isn't it? Straight up at him, man to man, creating gaps for linebackers and safeties and corners and everybody else and their mom to blitz through. And that is how they played defense last night. Their pass coverage was, for the most part, outstanding. And really, outside of that one or two plays that Mahomes had, they did a very good job of containing him in this offense overall. Kansas City is another team that is going to have to find balance in running the football. It really hurt him in the big games last season, and it's really hurting him this year. And look, I said from the beginning of this season, as far as the Colts are concerned, that I wouldn't mind Jacoby Brissett being my quarterback. I mean, given the circumstances and the expectations of this football team from a good majority of people with him, they're playing pretty good football, guys. And he was thrusted into a situation where, okay, I am going over some of the big plays that we'll run, but for the most part, I'm just going to know a little bit outside of the basic package. He comes right in behind Andrew friggin' Luck. You don't want to be the guy who follows the guy. You want to be the guy who follows the guy who follows the guy. And the Indianapolis Colts have been very fortunate to have Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and now to me, Jacoby Brissett in back-to-back situations. Very fortunate. And they should consider themselves fortunate that they are in this situation. Look, you got to win on the road on a Sunday night against a team right now that a lot of people believe had the potential to go to the Super Bowl. That's huge. And that votes well for your confidence, especially with Houston breathing down your neck every moment this season. You got Gardner Minshew and the Jacksonville Jaguars, which that's another story another time. Look, fact of the matter is this. Kansas City got beat last night. Offensively, they were stifled. And I'm sitting out Patrick Mahomes if I'm Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, because there is no way that I'm going to allow that ankle to get any worse. And, folks, I am from Kansas. This weather is not about to get any warmer. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of SINC 57. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just Google SINC Sports or SINC 57 Sports. And, of course, you can find myself on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Drew Duncan 83 across the board. I am also on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan, as is SINC 57 Sports. And simply tell your device to play SINC 57 by Drew Duncan wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.